All right, good morning, scholars. Happy day 142. We are moving on to something new today. Today, we are going to learn how to convert or change whole numbers into fractions, and we're going to do that using our good old place value chart. Just to quickly review, um, we know that we've talked a little bit about decimals and fractions. We know that decimals and fractions are less than one whole, so we're going to be taking whole numbers and turning them into numbers that are smaller than one whole or fractions. Um, and the process to do that is a process we've used before, where we use our place value chart, um, and we multiply our numbers as we move from place value to place value by 10. So I just kind of want to review what we've already discussed. So if I have my place value chart and I'm trying to change the number 200 into different place values, I know that for every place value I move, I multiply by 10. So if I'm here in the hundreds place and I want to figure out how many tens is that, I would have to jump and multiply by 10. If I'm in the tens and I want to figure out how many ones that is, I would have to jump again and multiply by another 10. If I'm in the ones and I want to figure out how many tenths that is, I would have to multiply by another 10. And if I'm in the tenths and I want to figure out how many hundredths that is, I would multiply by another 10. So moving from place value to place value, we know we can multiply by 10. We're going to take that same understanding and learn how to move from a whole number down to a fraction. So when I'm trying to convert a whole number into a fraction, these are the steps that I follow. I always start by drawing my place value chart. I have to draw my chart first. Then I'm going to write the number inside of the place value chart. I'm going to count the jumps that I take. So if I'm moving from tens to hundredths, or if I'm moving from hundreds to tenths, I'm going to count how many jumps that is. I'm then going to add those zeros and then write my new fraction. So you're going to watch me use these steps. Question number 1 says, convert 2 ones into tenths. Looking at my criteria for success, the first thing I need to do is, of course, draw and label my place value chart. So I'm going to start by hundreds, tens, ones, decimal point, tenths, hundredths. So that's labeled. I'm going to cross it out. The next step says write the digit into the place value chart. So what am I trying to convert? I'm trying to convert 2 ones. So I'm going to write 2 in the ones place. Because I'm trying to change this 2 ones, I put it inside of the place value chart where it belongs. Okay. I'm trying to change that into tenths. So I'm going to count how many jumps it takes to get from ones to tenths. Well, that's 1 jump. Notice how I didn't count this because this is not a place value. This is where your decimal point goes. So I didn't count the decimal spot as a place value. Moving from ones to tenths is 1 jump. So I'm going to be multiplying just 1 jump. Well, 1 jump is times 10. So 2 times 10. Or just count that 0, which is 1 0. So moving from ones to tenths is going to be 1 jump. So I'm going to add 1 0, which gives me my new number of 20. Now, 20 is not just 20, but it's 20 tenths. And how do I write 20 tenths? Well, 20 tenths as a fraction would be 20 over 10 because we are in the tenths place. Remember, this is like 1 over 10, and this place value is like 1 over 100 because it's the hundredths place and the tenths place. So 20 tenths is the same as having 20 in the tenths place. So to move from 2 ones to tenths, I had to count 1 jump and add my 0, which gave me 20 tenths. We're going to do another problem using the exact same strategy. So let's scroll. It says convert 6 ones into tenths. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to start by drawing my place value chart. Hundreds, tens, ones, decimal, tenths, hundreds. It says 6 ones, so I'm going to put a 6 in the ones place, and I'm moving to the tenths place. Well, moving to the tenths place is one jump. So I made one jump, so that number is now 60 tenths. And how do I write that as a fraction? Well, there's 60 tenths, so there's 60 over 10 because this is the tenths place. So in order to convert, I first drew and labeled my place value chart. I then wrote the number that I started with, which was the 6 ones. I then counted how many jumps I had to make. I only jumped one spot, so that's 1 0. I added that 0, it gave me 60 tenths. Then I turned that into a fraction by doing 60 over the place value. The place value that we are in is now the tenths place. That is the strategy you are going to use as you go through each of these problems. The problems are exactly like the ones you just saw me complete. Please make sure you are using your criteria for success. You should have scratch paper right next to you, writing down step by step by step everything you need to do to get to the correct answer. When you are done with the practice problems, you will then complete your exit ticket. Make sure you are writing down on your scratch paper all the steps that you need, and make sure that the answer you click on the computer matches what you have on your paper. When you are done, please remember to click submit to turn in your work. If you have any questions while you're working, make sure to text or call me. I am here to help you. All right, let's hop to it.